Hello, this is Kevin Trainer, and I'd like to welcome you to my tutorial on um, how to complete and submit um, exercises for my guitar shop. So this tutorial is primarily for the use of the people in my class at Illinois GISLIS, LIS 490 dB. And as part of that class, we're going to have, on a number of weeks, we're going to have some exercises that you need to submit from a group of exercises called My Guitar Shop. Now, there's a database associated with that, and there was a separate tutorial where we've already installed the database. So if you missed that one, you want to go back and find it. And now we want to just take a look at how to properly pursue the exercises themselves, and in particular, how to submit them, how to package them up and submit them. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm working in Windows 7, a little old school, but I am. And I'm going to create a new folder in my documents, because that's a place that is pretty friendly. And I'm going to call this why don't I call it My Guitar. Somehow I like to put underscores. My Guitar Shop Exercises. Okay. So we have that, and that was kind of nice. It's sort of at the top. And then within that, we're going to be doing the exercises for a particular chapter. Okay? And so we're going to be handing them in. Okay? And what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to have a directory that we zip up and hand in. Okay? So let's create a new folder. And here's how I'd like to name this. First of all, I'd like to identify the name of the student. So I'm going to pretend that I'm a student. And I want things to sort in alphabetical order by last name. So I want to start off with last name, Trainer, underscore, first name, Kevin, underscore, and then let's just say MGS for My Guitar Shop, because that's a lot less typing. And let's call it chapter. And then let's, if it's chapter 3, I want to put 03, because I'd like these to sort in alphabetical order, and they will if we do that. So chapter 03. Okay. And that's what we've got. So that's going to be a directory that holds all of the files that we are going to create, which are going to be some kind of SQL script file. So now I'm going to minimize this because I've got that taken care of. And let's go and fire up MySQL Workbench, which we've used a couple of times in previous tutorials. And if you missed those, you may want to go back and find them. Okay. And here in the upper left is a gray panel for a connection to our database server. So I'm going to double click that. And it fires up a copy of Workbench, and I have a query script right here. Okay, so let's do a couple things. We learned this in some of the chapters, but it never really hurts to review. Okay, how do we use a particular database? Okay, well, there are a couple of ways to do it. One kind of easy way to do it is go over in the Navigator panel, okay, and double click on the name of the database, My Guitar Shop. And you can see here that it goes into bold and the detail comes down from it, okay? And then we can go exploring. All right, so let's go to tables. Okay, and these are the tables that are part of My Guitar Shop. And just a little while ago, I did the tutorial for installing this database. So in that one, we took a look at the products table. Okay, so instead of using the built-in feature to display the table, I'm going to do something that we learn about in Chapter 3, which is to do which is to write an SQL query myself, okay, that does the same thing. I'm going to go back up here, and I'm going to type select. And then I'm going to use an asterisk for all columns. And I'm going to come, and then I'm going to say from. And then I'm going to use the name of a table. And let's say products. We've already looked at that. Select all columns from products. Okay, that's good. And how do we run that? Well, the easiest way to run that is we click on the leftmost of the two lightning bolt icons. And, this does something very similar to what happened when we said we wanted to display the contents of the table. And we're going to figure out before too long that that's all that the icon that we clicked on when in the last of the tutorials where we said we wanted to display the contents of the table, it was just a shortcut for this query. Select all from products. Okay, so that's working just fine. All right, now let's explore a couple of the finer points here, okay, which is I simply typed in this query, and as we learned in Chapter 2, most of these things are keywords. Select, the asterisk as an expression for all columns, and from are keywords. And products is the name of a database object. It's the name of the table called products. Okay, well, what if we wanted to put this in a particular format? Well, there is a way to kind of tidy up our SQL code. And if we go up to the toolbar just in the top of the editor, there's a little icon that looks like a little brush, little sweeper brush. And if we hover over it, it says beautify/reformat the SQL script. So let's do that. And what's happened? Well, it has turned the keywords select and from into all caps. It's also highlighted them, which is nice. Because they are in all caps, they get highlighted. Well, because they're keywords, they get highlighted in blue. The asterisk is a very short list of columns. Okay, so it's put on its own line. The select is on its own line. The list of columns is on its own line. The from's on its own line. And the list of tables that we want to select from, which right now it's pretty simple, is just the table products. Okay, so let's prove to ourselves that this it still works in its prettified version. Okay, we're going to click on the lightning bolt icon. And here we got the same results again. So that's just what we wanted. Okay. Now, what could we do? Well, let's pretend that this is the answer to exercise 1 of this particular chapter. Okay, I think I said this, we were doing chapter 3. Okay, well, how would I save this? Well, pretty much like you would when any other product, you go up to the menu bar and you click on File and you say Save Script As. And now we want to find our way to the place where we are assembling our work. And you'll remember that I created a directory under Documents. So go to Documents and My Guitar Shop Exercises. Okay, and then here's where we're putting the work for chapter 3. So I want to open that. Okay, and this is going to go in the right directory, but it doesn't have a name. So let's give it a name. And let's pretend that this is one of the exercises. Okay, so let's call it EX, small e, small x, underscore, okay, 25. Okay, so that's saying it's exercise 25. If this were exercise 1, you would call it EX underscore 01. Why do I want to use the 0 in things that are lower than 10? I want them to sort in the right order. Okay. Now, so again, let's call this 25 because we don't really go that high. All right. Do we have to put a file extension? Well, no, because it's saying save as type SQL. It's going just where we want it. So now I'm going to click on Save. Okay. And now I have saved that query. Okay. Well, let's say this. Let's close the tab that we have here. Come on. Okay. A little sticky, but it worked. Okay. So let's go up. How do we open a query? Well, we know how to do that. We've done it when we set up the databases. The second icon in the toolbar has SQL in a little open folder. So click on that. Okay, and you'll see that we're still pointed to the directory that we just put this into, and we can highlight EX25 and open it, and there it is. Okay, while it looks good, will it still run? It will. So we just click on the lightning bolt icon and it ran just fine. Well, that's great news. Now, let's do a couple of nice to haves. I want to do that for a couple of reasons. Okay. First of all, I want to have a second query because I want to zip up the files and we want to see what they look like when we've got more than one file in the directory. Because in a typical chapter, you're doing 3, 5, 1, I think you do as many as 10. Okay, so let's close this one and let's create a new query. We can do that with the first of the toolbar icons. That's the SQL, which is the plus. Okay, and let's pick another table that we would like to get see what's inside of it. And let's say maybe categories. I happen to know these are product categories because I'm familiar with the database. So we could do the same thing. We could say select asterisk all columns from categories. Okay, that looks okay. And can we run it? Yeah, let's just click on the lightning bolt and it runs, and oh, look, this is a nice little table, just 2 columns, category ID, which is the key, and then the values category names. So it looks like they sell basses, drums, guitars, and keyboards. Okay, it's a nice little rock band guitar shop. Okay, sounds great. Okay, now we have just a couple of things that we could clear up to make them better. Okay, and I'd like to start you off with good habits. So let's look at what those are. So the first one is, we talked about this already. Let's click on the little dust brush icon to beautify our script. Okay, that's going to get all of our work in the same format. It's going to be a lot easier to understand. Okay, now let's look at another thing that can happen. We just assumed that it knew which database we were talking about, because we didn't say select all the columns from the categories table in My Guitar Shop. It's just looking in My Guitar Shop because we've highlighted it. Well, that makes this query not quite so portable. For instance, I'll show you how we're able to break it. Let's close that up, and let's open up the AP, or accounts payable database, by double clicking on it. And now we can see the tables there, which don't include categories. And now, since we have hooked up the database AP, when we run our query, it's going to assume that we're looking for the categories table in the AP database, and gotcha, it's not there. Well, that's bad. Okay, let's prove that we've broken something. So let's go up and click on the lightning bolt toolbar icon. Okay, and down here in the bottom, we haven't been paying a lot of attention. There's this output area, and we can see that the last message said, you can see the red X, we got an error code 1146, table AP.categories. So the categories table in the AP table, in the AP database doesn't exist. Oh, so is there a better way to point the server at the proper database? Well, there is. We can have more than one statement in a query. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go up right before select, okay? Give ourselves a blank line at the top, and there's a command called use, and it works like this. You just say use database name, so it's My Guitar Shop, okay? Use My Guitar Shop, and then we want to point it to the proper database, and then we want to run a select. Now, can we just put that? No, there's currently nothing telling the server when it parses through our script where the end of one command is and where the start of the next is. And so what we do is at the end of every command, we place a semicolon. So we can say use My Guitar Shop, and then we say select blah, 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 and then we can put a semicolon there. Okay, so why don't we run that? So we run it, and it works just fine. So we've done a couple of things that I really like, and it's a good practice I'd like to get you doing right from the beginning. Oh, and you know what? Let's improve our practices. Let's pretty it up with the dust brush. I don't know why it doesn't pretty up use My Guitar Shop. I'll put it on that line. Does it pretty up that? It doesn't seem to pretty that up. Okay, that's bad. Maybe we have to highlight everything we want to pretty up. Let's try. No, that doesn't work either. Well, that's nice. So let's put use in uppercase. That's a bug, by the way. Use my guitar shop and then select blah, blah, blah. Okay. Now, good habit one is that we put it in a pretty and reader-friendly format. Good habit two is that we started out with a use for the database that we want to use, so there's no ambiguity. This is particularly helpful when you're doing this stuff, not when you want to take a script and run it, but not run it inside of a tool like MySQL Workbench, okay? That feature that we had where we double click on the database that we want and it just assumes that it's that one, that's just a feature of the Workbench. So we would do better to explicitly say use my guitar shop, okay? And then of course we have to remember if we have multiple statements in a script, and this is a script that has two statements, a use and a select. If we do that, then we need to terminate them with semicolons. You could probably get away without the second one, but it's a good habit too. Once you start to have more than one statement in a script, it's a good habit to terminate all of them with semicolons. Okay, great habits. So now let's save this. So let's say we're going to save this as though it were exercise 99. So how do we do it? Well, you'll remember we go up and click on File in the menu, Save Script As, okay, and let's call this one EX underscore, lowercase ex. Let's be consistent with that. Lowercase ex, 99. No need to type in the file extension. Let's click Save. Okay, and then we've got that there. Okay, that looks good. That looks terrific. All right, so now we have all the files that we need. Let's minimize Workbench, and then let's go back and take a look at our directory. You'll recall that we had a directory that had our exercises in it. And let's just take a look at this. So in this directory that holds chapter 3, which these are not really for chapter 3, but that's the first assignment that we're doing. So I thought it'd be nice to show that we could do it. We've got two scripts. One is called ex_25.sql, and the second one is ex_99.sql. Okay, and we're ready to do everything to submit, except we've got more than one file. And what we're going to do in this course, and it's really a good practice no matter what you're doing, is if you're going to send data to somebody, if you can put it in one file, and it's a manageable size. I think that's a practice that we ought to recommend. So let's go up a level and let's highlight the directory here. And let's right click and say that we want to send to compressed zipped folder. And what do we get? Well, we get a zipped version of this. So for my students in my class at Illinois GISLIS, there'll be a Moodle submission activity that this will be the file that you submit to. Okay, so how good is this? Well, let me tell you, there's some properties of this that I really like. Let's do this. Let's take a copy of this zipped file and let's go back up in the file system into documents, okay? And let's create another directory, okay, new folder. And let's call this directory on instructor machine. Okay. And what the instructor is going to do is they're going to download your file and they're going to put it into their directory. Okay. And then how are they going to run your work? Well, let's do that. First of all, let's close Workbench and pretend that we're the instructor. Okay. And okay, we downloaded the directory with all of the exercises in it. Okay, let's open Workbench. Okay, let's open the connection. Double click on the gray box. Okay, we don't need this query one, so we'll get rid of it. Let's open the first of the exercises, number 25. So let's take the second of the icons in the toolbar with the open file folder. And you can see that we're looking at the old directory. Well, that's not the one that we want. Let's go back up to My Documents and let's pretend that we navigated to another directory. And did I manage to not put that in the right spot? Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to unzip it. Let's unzip it. So go back there. I have a zipped folder. The instructor is going to have to unzip it. Right click. Okay. Extract all. Extract. I think I'm on my Mac. Okay. So we have this. Now let's go back into Workbench. We'll click on opening the script file, but now we have to get to the proper directory, My Documents, directory on instructor machine, and here is the directory. So we open that, and here is exercise 25. We open it, and let's try to run this. And you'll see that the reason that I wanted you to put the use My Guitar Shop in the beginning of the query is that when the instructor goes to run your work, it won't run if the instructor hasn't taken the time to go select the database, My Guitar Shop. Okay, so let's look at number 99, which begins with the statement use My Guitar Shop, and let's run that, and that runs just fine. Okay, so just a little attention to detail. How to name your directory so that it is easily identifiable as yours, how to name each of the script files so we know which exercise it's for, and then inside of the script, making sure that we begin with a use database name statement followed by a semicolon, and then whatever statements or statements we need to have in order to do the exercise. And then we save that in the proper directory. When we're done with all of them, we zip it all up. We've got one file, and we submit the one file. So that's how we're doing it. And I wish you luck. And I'm going to say bye until next time. Bye-bye.